Abeokuta, the city beneath the rocks, a city born out of history, survival, and the coming together of different people in search of safety. From the imposing Olumorok that provided refuge to early settlers, to the stories of Lishabi, the Egba Wars, the Alake, the missionaries, early education, commerce, and the growth of modern Nigeria, almost every corner of this city has a story to tell. But Abeokuta's history is not only written in books or preserved in palaces and monuments. It is also hidden in old roads, buildings, railway relics, bridges, and pathways that have quietly survived the passage of time. Some have been replaced, some abandoned, while others have continued to serve the people despite their age. And one of such lesser known reminders of this city's past is Gada. To understand the story of Gadaru, one must first go back to the era when the railway was beginning to change the face of transportation in this part of the country. Construction of the Lagos Railway began in the 1890s, and the line reached Abeokuta towards the end of the decade, before the Lagos-Ibadan connection was opened in 1901. The railway was not just about trains. It created new commercial routes, connected communities, and left behind a network of stations, warehouses, workshops, and access routes that would become part of Abeokuta's urban history. One of the early railway stories of Abeokuta is associated with the Pansheke Ibara axis. Historical photographs and local accounts identify relics of the old railway facilities there, with the former Abeokuta station later associated with Lafenwa as the railway network developed. Records from the period also show that Lafenwa served as a significant railway station, while earlier facilities in Abeokuta eventually ceased to serve their original purpose. And then there are the structures that grew around this railway era, places that many residents of today's Abeokuta may pass without realizing the history they carry. Old warehouse spaces, workshop areas, and other remnants of that period have become part of the city's modern landscape. What may look like an ordinary building or a forgotten space today could in fact be connected to an era when the railway was one of the most important engines of movement and commerce in the region. And somewhere within this historical web is Gadaru, an ancient and rugged crossing standing at Ori-Iyanrin. It is narrow, steep, and to the unfamiliar, frightening. Yet, for those who know the terrain, it has long offered a shorter route from the Ori-Iyanrin and Agbeloba axis towards Aro village and Itaoshi.
Yes, I know there's a bridge around that area, and I think it was the first one, that was built. But what I'm worried about is a lack of maintenance culture. That's not it alone. I was privileged even to go through that Lafenwa bridge. That Lafenwa bridge used to be it was made with planks, and you have to cross to the market, to Lafenwa market, and we will leave our house at Ilao, moving to that place, and you have to pass through the road, through the river, and through that bridge, and you are looking at the bridge, streaming, and you feel like I'm going to jump into it until it was repaired. So the Aro bridge is Gadaro. It was during the colonial days, and I think it should have been modernized, one way or the other, or left as a tourist attraction. There are so many things we don't do to revolve tourism around in Nigeria.
The bridge may not have the scale or architectural grandeur of a modern city bridge, but its value lies in the history it carries and the communities it has continued to connect.
I was here at Torino in 1995, but the story does what tell us that this bridge was found so many years ago. But since then, we are trying to work on it. Year before, we are passing it. Even though we can climb that metal, so we can climb that. But to call story the short. So sometimes the bridge was damaged.
Gada is therefore more than a narrow crossing over a pathway. It is a reminder of how people moved, how communities connected, and how Abeokuta expanded over the years. But time has not been kind to the structure. Its rugged appearance and deteriorating condition have raised questions about safety, accessibility, and how long such a structure can continue to serve its purpose without serious intervention.
Sí mo ti ń gbà bí báyìí ó ti pẹ́ o. 95 ni mo ti ń gbà bí báyìí. 1995 ni mo ti ń gbà bí báyìí. Èyàn ò dẹ̀ jìn sí kòtò ìtọ̀sìn lẹ máa yọ sí. Ibi iná ń pè ní abúlé Oríyanrìn. So ẹni tó bá láyà ni o. So ó máa gun Gada yìí jáde sí tọ̀sìn. Ọ̀nà tó yá gan ni pàápàá.
For years, the bridge has remained a shortcut for people who know its roots. But the question now is whether a city that prides itself on its history can continue to watch an important part of that history deteriorate. Should Gada be preserved as an historical landmark? Should it be reconstructed as a modern bridge while its historical identity is retained? Or can both objectives be achieved? Safety for the present and preservation for the future.
Rise this afternoon to move a motion on the urgent need for reconstruction of the Gada Bridge in Abeokuta to make it more memorable. So I move.
I rise again to second the motion as moved by
If you are in support that the motion be deleted, say aye. If you are against, say nay. Yes, I will. If you are against, say nay. If you are in support, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it and so ordered.
These questions have now moved beyond conversation. In July 2026, the Ogun State House of Assembly called on the state government to urgently reconstruct Gada Bridge. The Assembly said reconstruction would improve public safety, provide an alternative route for communities, reduce pressure on existing road networks, and create opportunities for economic and urban development.
This is made an emotion about public safety, urban development, and economic growth. If you look at the rate of congestion between Biri and Itaoshi these days, especially early in the morning and the closing time, is becoming unbearable. So if you have a place like that people can be taught to come and join Pansheke Orinara, so it will relieve the entire people passing through that place. Whether you are coming from Ontario, Oriland, or you are coming from Ibogila in Yewa Land, you have a new way to get out of town without getting into trouble. So I only want to support that the motion be turned into the resolution of this house, and it's fine that will be made onto the government to put that bridge in place for the use of all of us.
The Gada Bridge be reconstructed and modernized for the use of the people of Ogun State.
For Abeokuta, the story of Gada is therefore a story about the past meeting the present. It is about an old structure that has outlived generations, a shortcut that still serves a purpose, and a piece of the city's history that is now demanding attention. But reconstruction should not mean erasing the memory of what once stood there. If a new bridge is to rise, there is also an opportunity to document the old one, preserve its story, and ensure that future generations understand why Gadaru mattered.